G'day guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Wildkard. Thank you for watching the Wildkard Rugby Show. Like, comment, and subscribe. And yes, you've probably seen it from the thumbnail that I'm not very happy with this game. And it has nothing to do with the performances of the players on the field. I think the quality of this game in many aspects, in terms of the referee, the TMO, and the broadcasting from the French broadcasters is really just poor. And I'm just actually a little bit surprised that or any of these things actually occurred in a Six Nations match, in like the final, the championship deciding match, and we are seeing these sort of things in probably one of the biggest matches of the year. It's just really, I think it's unacceptable from the Six Nations as an organizers and from World Rugby as the overall arching body that looks after all the referees and their trainings. Now, let's talk about the positives first before everybody starts accusing me of, hating on their team or whatnot. And just in case, right? If you think I hate your team, right? It's true. It's true, okay? I only support the Wallabies and I hate every other team in the world, okay? So it's true if you think I hate your team. But hey, let's talk about the positives of this game. Look, I'm a neutral going into this game. I didn't really mind that either team was going to win. I was hoping for a Scotland win, for a bit of an upset, for a bit of excitement. But yeah, this was just an outstanding French team. Overall, because it is just Fabien Galthié really gotten over the hump. I think that they experienced last year of not having to play with Dupont, and Galthié had to find another way, right? There's no guarantee of the availability of Dupont due to injuries or whatnot. And Galthié has done an excellent job of pretty much rebuilding the French team from the ground up to a strategy that's been just very successful and very beautiful to watch as well. So again, this week the French team came out outstanding physicality from the four pack. The 7-1 forwards on the bench once again played in their favors, but even just the starting forwards fronting up in defense, fronting up in the attack, getting over the advantage line, fighting for that every meter in the tight areas was outstanding. And you can see that the whole game, the French was getting just a little bit of edge in that physicality battle from their four pack. The fluid handling, the depth in the attack was just excellent all around for the French team as well. And then they just once again exploited the speed that they had out wide with both Damien Penaud and Louis Bieri to just kick the ball down the field and chase it down, or just follow up through with a half break. It's just absolutely outstanding for the French team. And I think that Damien Penaud is starting to play a bit of an interesting role, in my opinion. He's starting to play almost like a second playmaker out of the winger position, and it just adds an extra bit of a dynamic, an extra bit of a threat. He lurks kind of like behind the attack line, and he slots himself in to create that overlap advantage, and using that speed that he has, he's just so dangerous and so good. And also he's got that threat of the kicking as well. When he gets the ball, you just don't know where he's just gonna kick it down behind the field, and suddenly you're in a foot race against Bieri or something, and you're in big trouble there. So really outstanding strategy that is masterminded by Fabien Galthié, and something that he's been working with, he was striving towards since Six Nations last year without Dupont. And again, without Dupont tonight was quite a comfortable win with the French side. And that's very excellent for the Scottish team. I thought there was just way too much pressure on Finn Russell, to be honest with you. There was a lot of inaccuracies from his play, missing touch finders, missing passes, leading to like a intercept try. He was firing some of the passes just a little bit too hard, in my opinion. Like it was, his teammates wasn't even able to catch it because it was just, firing bullets at them, right? And I think that just all comes down to the pressure that he's probably put on himself. And just sometimes you push yourself too hard, it leads into that mistake. It's kind of like, I think there used to be a saying, like, if you're trying to hold a fish, a slimy fish or something in your hand, right? If you just hold it, just tight enough, it's not going to slip away. But if you squeeze it too hard, it's going to slip out of hand. It's kind of like that. The Finn Russell is just squeezing the slippery fish a little bit too hard in his hands, and yes, and then leading into more mistakes than he's actually intended to do so. And outside of that, I thought the French forwards was a little bit less physical than the French forwards as well. And I thought that the Scottish team was way too conservative when it comes to playing those penalties. There was at least twice when the French team received a yellow card, and then the Scottish team only went for to kick 3 points, and then leading the French team coming back straight at you to put pressure back onto the Scotland team. That's where you should really strike and get yourself a try, fresh off a penalty, and a player advantage there, and especially when the momentum is with you, and just big momentum killers when you take those 3 points, when you have immediately getting a yellow card against the French team. And another thing is the fact that if you take those 3 points, you're already so far behind as well. So it's not like, oh, the game was really tight. It was like the French was pulling away. You needed to kind of like really take a stand to get yourself back into the game, and they just taken the 3. So I wasn't really happy about that. So now let's look at some of the controversial stuff. Let's talk about the absolute what do you call it? The absolute horrendous refereeing, the horrendous TMO, the obvious lack of training from World Rugby to these referees, and the really poor decision. Let's go to the referee first, and then I'll talk about the French TV broadcasters. So for me, I'm a neutral. I don't care if you get yellow carded, red carded, who wins or lose. I just think that the referees at this level needs to be better than me, right? They need to know more about the rules than me, and they clearly don't know the laws. Even pointed out by the very kind TMO team, put very nicely. So the rugby red card, the 20-minute red cards, since it's been implemented, it does not remove the possibility of a full red card. The 20-minute red cards only applies to actual rugby incidents. So pretty much any foul play that goes from if you look at the law book, that goes from this section all the way down, dangerous play, repeated infringements, goes all the way down to misconduct. Everything above misconduct is basically 20-minute red card, can be considered for 20-minute red card, where the referee sends a player off the yellow card and then refers to the bunker for, depends on severity of the play. They will decide whether it's they decide on a 20-minute red card or not. Anything outside of that, it's still a full send-off for the entire duration of the game without replacement. And that falls into basically 2 categories. Something that is against the spirit of good sportsmanship, like punching somebody, or abusing the referee. So if you were to, call the referee something, a slur, then you are going to be red carded and you cannot be replaced. It's not 20 minutes, you're off for good. And this incident that occurred in this moment here, right? Now, Thomas Ramos, let's just go back a tiny bit, right? So Thomas Ramos pushed over Ben White, and Movaka didn't know what happened, thinks that Ben White deliberately tripped on him, and then Movaka gets up, he charges at Ben White and headbutts him in the process. Now, that is against the spirit of the sport. That is essentially striking a player on the ground after whistle has been gone. That's not part of a rugby incident. That is just straight up assault, essentially. That should be a full red card send-off. Okay? It's not a 20-minute red card. There should not be TMO review. That should just be a straight up send-off, because you're doing something that is not even part of the game of rugby anymore. It's against the spirit of the game, and I don't know why the referee referred it to a TMO, and the TMO actually said that this was a low degree of danger, right? Now, the degree of danger, it's only considered in rugby incidents that is above here, right? That is all of these other infringements will be considered for degree of danger. When it comes to misconduct and against the spirit of good sportsmanship, there's no consideration of the severity, right? If you call the referee a see you next Tuesday, or if you call the referee a bloody idiot, you don't go, the C word is worse than you're a bloody idiot, then it's a 20-minute record. You don't consider the severity of that situation. It's straight up a red card because you abused the referee. This is the same thing here. It's straight up red card because you have essentially assaulted the player after whistle has gone. It doesn't matter if you only clipped in slightly, right? You've made an attempt and you've connected on the player on the head with a headbutt. It's straight up a red card. Full send off. There's no consideration should be even talked about the severity of the infringement, because it's not actually a rugby infringement. It's not a rugby incident altogether. So whether or not this is severe enough or dangerous enough shouldn't even be considered. It's absolutely disgraceful. Marius van der Westhuizen, a pretty experienced referee altogether, so I can't really blame him for this decision. This is just poor guidance from World Rugby. This is a lack of training from World Rugby to tell him how the 20-minute red card actually works. He doesn't know the law. He hasn't been trained enough. This is the first time the 20-minute red card has been implemented in the Six Nations, I think in the Northern Hemisphere altogether, maybe. And he just doesn't know. And it's all World Rugby being absolutely incompetent in training their referees. I hope that made that clear enough for everybody to understand why this should be a full send-off. Another thing, Carley's performance was pretty lackluster this week today as well. There was, there was inconsistencies left and right. Even the commentators pointed out, Scotland dragging the French team out of the bounds after the referee said tackles be made, and the referee issued out a penalty against Scotland, and then France pulling Scotland players over the try line after the referee similarly said tackles will be made, and that's okay apparently. So inconsistency left and right. There's like breakdown inconsistencies as well. Really overall poor performance of Carley. I think he's normally better than that. Again, I'm not sure why he was particularly bad today. And finally, I have a little bit of a complaint. I think people have complained about this in the past before. The French broadcasting is absolutely atrocious. And as a neutral as well, I just want to tune in to see a good game of rugby. I like the French broadcasters pretty much never shows replays unless the referee requested to do so. And there was one incident where I was just like, I'm so frustrated. I'm still angry about it. It's the denied try before halftime when allegedly Blair Kinghorn had been pushed out, even though the side touch judge was right there and didn't rule it out. And then the try was disallowed. And the issue is that you need to show the replay. You need to let the fans watching see what happened. I have no doubt that maybe that it is that. I'm sure there's evidence, but show me the evidence. I want to see the evidence that the player was out, especially when you're gonna deny a try. It's quite an important moment of the game, and they just like, okay, you say it's out, that's fine. No try, halftime, boys. No replay. That's it. It was horrendous. I almost wanted to stop watching, and it was so bad. I was so frustrated. It was just, such a, and that occurred as well later on in the second half as well. It seemed like Uni Antonio was hurt. No replay of what happened. There was a yellow card issued in the second half to a French player for something. I don't know. It was repeated penalties or something. Same time when Antonio got hurt. No replays whatsoever. Horrendous. Absolutely horrendous. And again, as Six Nations, the organizers, you need to make this, you need to make sure these broadcasting partners of yours actually knows how to do their job, right? If these people are used to broadcasting soccer, you need to make sure that they know how to broadcast rugby games, right? Again, this is the utter failure in the organization in Six Nations. The speaker of the utter failure of Six Nations as well. The bonus point system, again, ruined this game completely. Because once the French, I've talked about the problem with the bonus point system in my previous week's videos as well. Once the French go the bonus point, right? They basically won the Six Nations. And the last 20 minutes, 25 minutes of this game was pretty much not worth watching because the French already got the 4 tries. It's just over. It's literally over unless Scotland can score like 3 tries in 20 minutes and win the game. It's not possible for France to actually lose Six Nations anymore. And again, that is poor bonus point system altogether. You should never have a bonus point given to a team without them having the risk of losing it. Right? And this is why I proposed for the the bonus points are given to the winning team by winning a certain margin, right? They do this in top 14. They do this in Super Rugby. You have to win by more than 3 tries. If you win by more than 2, no matter how many tries you score, you still don't get the bonus point. And there's a risk of you losing that bonus point as well. And in fact, I've talked about this as well. This should be reduced down to 2. Because in the National Test Rugby, the teams are too close in terms of skill levels. You want the bonus points to be 2 tries ahead because if it's 3, sometimes we see this in the Bloodless Wildkard, for example. The Wallabies just goes, hey, we're not going to score 3 tries more than the All Blacks. Let's just not bother scoring tries at all. Let's just kick 3 points and try to milk out a win. You don't want to see that either, so I think that 2 tries should be a really good amount for the bonus point, and it leaves the team a possibility of losing that bonus point and makes the game just a little bit more exciting for everybody, right? And I think that's just yeah, again, really, really poor from Six Nations organizers, and I don't know what else to say other than that. So I've got thanks for listening to the rant. I got that out of my systems. Let's move on to talk about the stats of the game. So France 4 tries to 1, 341 run meters to the French to the Scotland 485. Much more, much higher efficiency in terms of converting tries into converting, opportunities into tries for the French team. 8 turnovers conceded for the French, 16 turnovers conceded against Scotland. This is what I'm saying. The 4-pack from the Scotland team is just not fronting up. 172 tackles made for the French, 31 missed tackles. That's pretty high for the French team. 123 tackles made, 15 for Scotland. 28 kicks in play for France, 23 for Scotland. And then the kicking game is probably the big difference for the French team. 1 missed goal from Ramos. A little bit of a surprise there. But, let's see the kick meters. 874 for the French to the 583 for Scotland. Just way more dominant in their kicking, way more accurate overall. Lineouts for the France, 16, no loss. 1 loss for the Scotland out of 15. There was a lot of disruptions for both teams when it comes to lineouts, but no one really had a clear disadvantage, so to speak. The scrums was quite even. I thought the French probably had a bit of an advantage in the second half, and the referee didn't quite give that advantage. Didn't really allow that advantage for the French team. 11 penalties considered for the French. 1 yellow card for what you saw in headbutt, which should be a straight red. And there was, again, another yellow card for, I think, repeated penalties. No replay. I don't know what happened. Someone maybe can tell me what happened there. There was 1 yellow card against the Scotland team. What was it for? I think it was Jamie Ritchie as well. I think it was collapsing him more before a try line, so definitely deserved that one for Jamie Ritchie. Also a bit of repeated penalties there going to that as well. So yeah, that is just the way it is when you're under pressure for Jamie Ritchie. Not too much to blame for him there. So let's have a quickly recap on the point summary. 3 minutes in the game, the French got a penalty. Ramos kicked this one, 3 points to 0. 11 minutes in the game, Jamie Ritchie got sent off for collapsing the more yellow card. 17 minutes into the game, Gael Fiku, after returning to the French side, gets a nice inside ball from, I think might be from Entermac, just like dancing feet around a few defenders, and then got the offload to Ramos. Ramos ran through, and then another offload to Moefana. Try, really, really beautiful. 10 points to 0. 21 minutes into the game, this should be a red card against Moefana. What is that? Yeah, Moefana. No, not Moefana. What's his name? Molvaka, the hooker, but he just got a yellow card for this. And Scotland kicked 3 points from this. Again, I think they should have gone for the try. You're 10 points down, and this is a yellow card. Why did you only take 3? And then, yeah, sure enough, 4 minutes later, France got a penalty. They kicked 3, 13 points to 3. There was a 38 minutes in the game. Finn Russell, some really nice play, a nice inside ball to Darcy Graham, who ran through a gap for a try. 13 points to 10. After this one, 35 minutes in the game, another penalty was given against Baptiste Gros, and he gets a yellow card, and I don't know why. I actually don't know why this was a yellow card. Antonio was on the ground, hurt, don't know why, no replay. And Scotland kicked 3, 13 points to 13. 37 minutes in the game, France gets another penalty pretty much immediately from the kickoff, taking out a 3, 16 points to 13. And then just before halftime, looked like Scotland scored a beautiful try. Apparently King Hong has stepped on the line going into this try. No replay whatsoever. Was this, you only allowed to review 2 phases before, right? Was this more than 2 phases? I don't know, because there was no replay. So no try. Referee was just like, yep, don't worry about it. Show me in replay. You know, that's good enough for me. And I was halftime. I was just like, why do I even bother watching this, right? 42 minutes into the game, there was a loose pass from Finn Russell. And it was scooped up by Romain Intermac on the French side, and he ran through, kicked the ball. He kicked the ball through, and then Bieri followed up to scoop this one up for a try with speed. 21 points to 13. 50 minutes into the game, another penalty to Scotland, and they kicked 3. 21 points. 23 points to 16. No, is it 20? Yeah, 23 points to 16. Sorry. The conversion was good from the previous one. Anyway, 56 minutes of the game, the French had a line out. They went for the more, and there was just there was a lot of piling in, and eventually Damien Pennell came out over the top to Ramos, and Ramos winning for the try. 30 points to 16. 61 minutes of the game, again, another nice little loop behind by Bieri from Fiku, I think it was, and Bieri gets the offload, and then there was some nice pass between Fiku and Moefana, winning for the try. 35 points to 16, and then, yeah, that's pretty much it. There was no more tries after this. The Scotland tried to find themselves back. There was a lift tackle in Finn Russell that clipped Hugh Jones on the head. Apparently that's not dangerous enough. I mean, the leg was high enough to hit another player in the head. That's how high of the lift that was. No yellow card, right? I mean, it is a little bit mind head scratching. Like, how high is it above vertical? Is it dangerous enough? You literally kick someone in the head from the lift, and that's not high enough, apparently, according to the referee. So really, really poor altogether. But anyway, thanks for watching this video. Like, comment, subscribe, and let me know your thoughts. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next week for the news, and have a good weekend. Cheers, guys.